Hey everyone, we got some massive news out of Fisker Automotive this morning, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video here. So let's jump right into it. Fisker saying that it has manufactured 5,000 Fisker Oceans and delivered over 900 customer vehicles, with several hundred more expected to be delivered this week. What's more, the company anticipates its milestone of hitting the pace of about 300 vehicles per day in the US and Europe. The company has said before that it's producing about 180 vehicles per day right now, so it's going to ramp up from 180 to 300. But let me share with you its previous update to investors. So this update was on September 26th, right? You look at the previous update on September 7th, the company said it's expected to increase production from the 180 units to approximately 300 units in the fourth quarter. But it said as of September 4th, it had produced a total of 3,123 vehicles. And now it's saying it's produced 5,000 vehicles. So in about 22 days, it's produced about 1,900 vehicles. So that's less than 100 per day. The distinction here, though, is that it's making the case here saying it's manufactured 5,000 Fisker Oceans, and over here it's just saying it's produced 223 vehicles. So that's the distinction that the company is making, but it doesn't look like they're at the pace of 180 units per day just yet, unless they hit that pace in the second part. So in the first part, maybe it was slower of the last few weeks, and now they ramped up to the 180 units per day. And now they're hoping to get to 300 vehicles per day. The other small difference I noticed in the press releases is in the previous press release, it said they're going to achieve the 300 units per day in the fourth quarter of this year. And this video says that they're going to achieve the 300 units per day sometime later this year. So another small distinction to be made. So if the company hits this target of producing 300 vehicles per day, that could mean for 2024, the company produces 9,000 vehicles per month, rough estimate, 300 times 30, 9,000 per month. Multiply that by 3, you get 27,000 per quarter. Multiply that by 4, you get over 100,000 units produced for the year in 2024. That would be a huge boost and a big ramp up. If you compare that, let's say with Rivian expects to produce 52,000 vehicles this year, and they haven't yet talked about next year. But I don't know if they're going to ramp from 52,000 to over 100,000. That does not seem likely to double from 52,000. So it could be that Fisker produces more vehicles than Rivian, despite getting a much later start. Now, yes, Fisker does have a different business model. Rivian employs all its own manufacturing facilities, whereas Fisker is outsourcing the manufacturing to Magna, and so that makes it easier for Fisker to ramp up production because it doesn't require the heavy capital investment up front in order to ramp up the production as much. So a little bit of a distinction, but that shouldn't take away from how impressive it would be if Fisker does hit this 300 vehicle per day pace by the end of this year and then sustains that pace throughout 2024 and hits that over 100,000 vehicle produced milestone for 2024. And investors were cheering the news. Fisker's stock price was up as much as 20% on the day before coming down a little bit. It's up about 11.7% as of this recording. Still, investors are impressed by this news from Fisker Automotive, and it is huge news, to be sure, the company reaching 5,000 and reiterating the target that it expects to hit the milestone of 300 vehicles per day. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.